leveled at closer. Last time around, taking the Lee Sin as well from him. But I think this actually reduces the value of the early pick Azir because Sylas is a good matchup into it. We've seen it all across the world picked into it.
Well, the Azir is at least hovered here early on. Also, just for fun facts and for completionism, Wukong was banned in game number 1, but not until the second half. So,
exactly.
Of all of these champions, only the Lucian is newly added to that roster, as Abbeddage will run it back on Azir.
And this is where we got Lucian Nami slammed down. You know, you would be normally saying, hey, Zeri Lulu is available. Yuumi is available as well, actually, this time around. So they could go Zeri Yuumi. Yuumi rarely makes it through pick ban these days, and this would be a very different style for EG. This would be towards scaling, but I think they're grabbing Yuumi here. I don't think you let it go back around to the 100 Thieves side.
It's a match made in heaven. It's the scaling bottom lane. It has dominated so heavily on this patch. Imagine coming in as the Academy AD carry for Evil Geniuses and determining a lot of this pick ban.
Absolutely, but they're not grabbing the Yuumi just yet. Zeri is grabbed up, Poppy is grabbed up. They may think 100 Thieves doesn't have a pairing that they would want to take the Yuumi with.
I would think that 100 Thieves would pick the Sivir for FBI, though. It's been such a good team fighting AD carry for them. Scales right alongside that Azir. Has huge wave control as well. You can rotate them over.
Interesting. I'm so curious now to see, is EG just happier on the Lulu side of the matchup? Lulu, we have seen at times, able to bully the lane, you know, create more of an advantage, so maybe they're happier on the Lulu side, and it does look like that is the case. This also affords them the early Poppy pick. You can ban out something like a Trundle and a Lee now, and really try to push closer down again.
Yeah, so it's that expected AD carry trade, though. The Sivir for the Lulu, snapped up there by FBI, by 100 Thieves, and it's going to be very similar pick ban to last time.
Yeah.
But jungle is going to be a high priority for the bans for 100 Thieves here.
Okay.
Continue to whittle down on those closer champions. If last game is any indicator, EG are going to ban his Lee Sin as well.
I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's going to be a very different style for EG, even though we're seeing a lot of the same kind of trades and bans and whatnot. It is going to be EG playing more this scaling bot lane. They don't have the pressure on them to necessarily create a massive advantage like they did last time.
And with the focus on the roles being the same as it was in the draft from game 1, 100 Thieves now have the opportunity to ban Sylas anyway. They still get to take it away from Evil Geniuses. I'm assuming they were predicting that EG would not have that early prio on mid.
Do they follow it up with a Victor ban then? Because Jojo performed quite well in the matchup as well as in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be something that they could look towards. We have seen other answers into the Azir, some of the more aggressive ones like the Yone, the Akali, things like this. But not sure if it's going to be the option here. And with that Ornn ban, it does lead me to believe that they are going to go Jojo's pick here on 4. I was thinking there was potential for them to just blind Ornn on 4 because they were happy playing it in the Aatrox anyway, and it works so well for them.
Yeah.
But instead, they're going to ban it out. They're likely going to go mid on 4, top on 5. And I'm excited to see what the answers will be.
Oh, okay. So they're going to lock the Aatrox in blind, and they're going to save Jojo's pick for last in the draft.
It makes it feel like it's a conditional pick, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, okay, I need to see the full team comp before I know if this is actually going to work here. So I'm really curious to see what they are actually considering.
It also says, hey, Ssumday, throw down the counter pick, the Fiora. And Ssumday says, yes, I'm up to the challenge. There is such a huge rivalry between Impact and Ssumday. At the top of the top laner rankings for the LCS for so long between these two, talking about the other one is overrated, I can take him down. Now he's throwing down the Fiora.
And it's so exciting because we saw Fudge play against both these top laners and be able to answer them with these types of counter picks.
Yeah.
It was such a big part of C9's wins against these teams, and now we get the Akali, the aggressive answer here. Really, really exciting stuff. Some early games and mid game with EG solos, and they have late game secured through bot.
So each solo lane gets a counter pick here. 100 Thieves with their faith in Ssumday. Ssumday, who was close to their MVP for the whole split. So many huge performances from him to get them to this position. And in the semifinals here, they're putting their faith in him once again. The counter pick Fiora. Meanwhile, Jojo, the Akali counter into the Azir. Look for the level 6 execution.
So the one we haven't talked about, closer is on Zhao. And I love this. This is a champion that you can really take over the game with. You can get it. Alrighty, game number 2, locked and reloaded as 100 Thieves need to strike back against an EG that made it look easy in game number 1.
And I'll expect jungle attention to look towards top lane. The top lane is the most volatile of all of the matchups in this entire game. Fiora can literally run circles around Aatrox. If you get her a lead, she will smash the matchup. Because of the Q, such low cooldown there, you can easily dodge Aatrox. And the sweet spots from Aatrox are so easily seen, you can almost always get your riposte on either that or the chain.
This is so interesting. I've never seen this. Impact is going so early game with his runes. Not only is he going Grasp, which is really atypical, he's even going Scorch. He's going Second Wind. So this is like all about, he thinks, I need to win the early game in this matchup, and he's going all in on runes to do it.
Exactly, and that's how much importance really does hinge on that top lane snowball there. And we'll see, Zhao, closer, is starting on red camp. We'll be pathing up towards that top lane. So I expect an early gank from him to put some pressure over there. Meanwhile, Inspired could do any sort of red camp clear here. Raptors into red. It could be a level 3 Poppy and a level 3 Xin showing up.
It's gonna be really interesting, but bot lane getting really scrappy early. Ignite already down.
FBI's at 100 HP. The last Q there from Cowrie doesn't connect. It wouldn't have killed him, but it could have set up a flash play.
But this does mean the sustain advantage will go 100 Thieves' way. Lulu has the shield, but Yuumi can slowly heal FBI up here.
Yeah.
Cowrie took a lot of damage there, did spend his potion, and it is a longsword start for FBI, so he has longsword 3-pot, and he has biscuits, and it's just the call and 1 potion on the other side.
And they also have the heal and the exhaust on the Yuumi. There was never actually a threat on FBI to kill him there. We could have had summoners traded, but the power of that Yuumi defensively, having that extra combat summoner, can go so long as well.
Ssumday doing a good job pushing there with the Fiora. He also saw, and the ward used from Impact, Trinket Ward in the side lane brush there, calling it out to his team. Closer with the sweeper though, looking bottom.
Yeah, and this would be so big. Cowrie already low, Vulcan low as well. He's hugging the wall so he can dash over, and Closer is spotted. So they did have a pink ward start there. I didn't actually catch who started the pink ward to cover that, but it does mean they are going to be safe. Now going to have to play it pretty close to the tower, though, without that vision.
Ooh, nice repose there from Ssumday. And that's what this matchup is all about, right? That's why Fiora is so good into Aatrox. Everything is telegraphed. He gives you a marker. Press W now.
Exactly. The riposts are very easy. Also, the Q movement is so easy and useful in these combat patterns. Meanwhile, in the mid lane here, Jojo on the Akali is playing the weak side of the early part of the matchup. Akali trying to get to that level 6. You're trying to scale without taking too much damage to put yourself in a vulnerable position. Get as many CS as you possibly can in the early stages, and he's actually doing a very good job with the wave pushing towards him.
And something we saw there is really important in this matchup from Impact, how he's using the dash not just straight towards the Fiora, but on an angle, so you actually get out of the riposte line. Because even then, if you hit with the sweet spot, if the riposte does not connect with you, you will not get stunned up. So using these kind of different angles on how you attack is really important. And also critical to actually be resetting the vitals when they are on an easy side for him to hit. And Impact is holding this wave here because Poppy's moving up towards top lane, but he is very low.
Okay, that Aatrox is going to have to play it cool here, but the problem is too, I want to go back to the point you made about the runes, because Scorch is useless after lane phase. It doesn't do anything. So if he has a bad lane into Fiora regardless, he's going to be hurt losing more valuable runes.
I love that we can see the communication about the top lane matchup in the pings from the teams. Impact there is so scared about someone slipping into the side lane brush here.
Ssumday's going for it. Impact is first blooded. Ssumday throws down the counter pick, and it pays off in 4 minutes and 42 seconds.
You can see the pressure all game long. Massive pings up here in the side lane. 2 trinket wards in the brush. The chain towards your tower the wrong way. You can see he's failing under the pressure.
Oh my god, as soon as that parry lands and Impact doesn't flash it, he was going down there that stun, getting right in on top of him. And it's just to make matters worse. Somebody didn't even have to spend the flash to get the solo kill. You go all early game on the runes into this counter pick, and you get crushed.
The top side of the map is looking good for 100 Thieves, but EG wants to strike back on the other side. Inspired's coming around. Polymorph goes out, and FBI goes down. Now they're gonna splat that cat, making a loot pinata double kill over to Cowrie.
Are you kidding me? EG again is now mid lane.
Oh, Abbeddage, he's in trouble. Jojo with the perfect execution.
our bot laner. Solo kill for Jojo in the mid lane. This team is cracked.
That's 1 lane for 100 Thieves, but 2 to the evil geniuses. What a play. The difference is also a couple seconds in jungle timings on the ganks there. It is Inspired running through the tri-brush with the sweeper going just a few seconds ahead of Closer, but that means the difference between life and death.
That's the difference between MVP and every other jungler, baby. Inspired showing up. Let's see how they did it again.
Absolutely, he just has the wraparound, and I love how he doesn't rush the play. He actually just moves down here, and he's not gonna go in. He's just gonna wait, because if FBI flashes, he'll flash in on top of him. And extra damage isn't even needed. Then the perfect W there to actually get Yuumi as she detaches, knocks her up, back into the team to buy the time there for Cowrie to get the double kill.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves bottom lane pushing up, playing aggressively because they have their jungler on Krugs, but then simultaneously in mid lane, again, the level 6 timing for Jojo. He does not wait for Abbeddage to get level 6. He takes advantage of his pushing lane there on Akali, the first to level 6, uses it under tower, and escapes with only a few HP.
And it's a picture-perfect execution there. The immediate R1 off the level up, instant level up, grabs the ulti, in, hits the shuriken flip, back in for maximum damage there. That was beautiful.
Absolutely perfect, and absolutely what you would expect from this kid who's known for his aggro play, who's known for his trash talk, and he's here to back it up.
That's what Akali in Azir is supposed to look like there with the early level 6. Jumps immediately onto it. Meanwhile, he's got some defensive wards too. Put the control ward here that was seen by 100 Thieves to protect that mid lane while he does have a little bit of a timing.
And it changes the context now of the top lane, because for Impact, as soon as you see that happen, your bot lane gets a double kill, your mid lane gets a solo kill. Your job is no longer winning this lane, your job is loss mitigation.
Yep.
You already are out of it in the 1v1, you farm, you stay safe, you trade as little as possible, and you just allow yourself to be carried.
Meatball Aatrox is not the main course. His job is to sit there and take shots for everybody else. Inspired, prowling around through mid here. He'll clear out the ward that 100 Thieves has on this side of the mid lane, but Ssumday and Closer are already in the river. Closer jumps in. Inspired Steadfast Presence will not cancel the Audacious Charge. Impact's roaming down, but Abbeddage is also roaming over. Shelly loses her patience. Jojo's lost about 1/3 of his HP. Huhi has roamed up here now as well.
Look at the bot lane coming up from EG, and you see Sivir is still down in bot. So it is going to be EG with the extra members here up on that top side. It's their Herald to start up, but Ssumday's sticking around, and 100 Thieves may want to try to scrap.
Herald is not a very quick objective to do, so Sivir running up here, 4,000 health in the eye open, will have time to get there. 100 Thieves want to stop this play.
Are we going to get a full 5v5 for Herald at 9 minutes into the game? We just might. Shelly's still having a decent amount of patience left. 3,000 HP. Eyeball is open. Inspired goes for the disengage. Ssumday's knocked away. EG have the objective. Inspired picks up the eye, and now they're ready to walk it out. Closer, not gonna land. Wind becomes lightning, so 100 Thieves can't catch up. A clean exfiltration from EG.
Very well executed there by EG.
Yeah, I mean, this timing also means that they don't get any payment for 100 Thieves on the bomb side of the map. If you're not going to be able to get that fight and that jump in time for 100 Thieves, they would have loved to at least shove a wave or two in on bottom for Sivir. But because they call FBI up, Evil Geniuses get the Herald at almost no extra cost.
And it's the power of the Poppy there, that knockout. As soon as Ssumday's knocked out, it gives them that 5v4 briefly where they can push forward, finish off the Herald, grab the eye, and then it's full-on retreat.
We've praised Inspired for his timing bottom. We've praised Inspired for his control over the Herald, but I'm still not seeing anything from Closer yet. This Xin Zhao needs to show up soon.
So because that Herald had no cost, there's got to look at the other side of the map. Immediately, Evil Geniuses will take off the other neutral objective. They play off their winning bottom lane. This Zeri dominant here with the 2 kills early on for Cowrie, and they push up on the bottom lane and immediately move over to take the dragon as well. Both early game neutral objectives secured by the Evil Geniuses.
Nicely done from the squad, controlling top and bottom at the same time. Normally that's a trade, but let's see if FBI can escape the pressure here at bottom. Slammed right back into the turret, but kept alive from the heels. Now the counterattack comes out. Are they ready to change? Yes, they are. Closer continuing to move forward, but the survival is there. The protection from the Lulu. Evil Geniuses gets out, but it costs a lot of summoner spells on both sides.
Absolutely. 4 summoners down for the 100 Thieves bot lane. Closer uses his flash, and on the other side, 3 summoners down for EG bot lane and Inspired Splash. So big trades on that bottom side. Not quite able to actually get the dive off, and the Yuumi route onto Cowrie quite nearly turned it around.
Yeah, if that Zhao W had actually hit Cowrie, they would have gotten the kill. But it hit one of the other 2, not able to touch him, and so everybody gets out with their lives. Meanwhile, you still, with Jojo here, using his teleport back, and Abbeddage as well, have to worry about this. Akali, perfect execution, is back and available for Jojo, and he wants to use it.
All right, Jojo. Can you find anything down here? I don't believe you can. Even for Akali, one-shotting Sivir through Yuumi, not an easy task.
Step number 1 in using it is keeping the pathway of the river clear to have openings for this Akali to roam around. And so bottom lane is the most important, but top lane could be an objective as well.
Oh, Ssumday reposting, but not having the ability to block the chain too means he's pulled back, can't continue that chase.
Exactly, and their impact was able to actually get his Q3 off fast enough. The shuriken flip hits. He has ulti, but he's not going to take that one in.
I love the observer zoom in too. It's like, take it, do it, you won't.
They're ready to go.
Prepping for it.
They know that Jojo's the guy to go for it if anybody will do it. But instead, he's going to play it cool for now. Not enough information to confidently go in. Oh. Jumps up there, but with Huhi nearby, he's going to stay protected. Ssumday continuing to dominate the 1v1 top side.
Oh.
This is what you were talking about, Isaac. It's so easy to reposition with that Q and smack him around.
It's just a beatdown in the top lane. Ssumday getting that pressure, but Impact is up in farm. You know, off of that roam towards the Herald, Impact did create a little bit of a farm advantage. So as long as he doesn't die, as long as he just continues picking up these waves, defending the tower, they are happy about their position in the game.
Exactly. Farm it out. You will still be a usable front line no matter what in this game. And it has been so much bottom triangle of the map here for Evil Geniuses as they move in once again. Getting Jojo some space to work with here. Keep clearing out these wards. It makes 100 Thieves play these matchups so much more cautiously.
1,000 gold lead for Evil Geniuses is about to become more once this Herald collides with the turret. They've got enough manpower nearby to force it to get close enough. Abbeddage will not clear it before it can grab those plates. They'd like to be able to grab one more off of it. They're very close, but unfortunately they don't have the range to guarantee that.
Exactly, and you have to always be careful about the Azir ultimate. You know, if you go in a little bit aggressive there, the Azir ulti can clear out the wave and scoop you in at the same time.
Gore Drinker done for closers Zhao. You can see that coming up as the 3rd completed mythic item of the game behind 2 of his own teammates. But despite the fact that they're hitting these item spikes nice and early, they're still behind in the game overall. Inspired, moving up here in the top lane, seeing if maybe they can bait Ssumday into a 2v1.
Yeah, if somebody gets really aggressive, it could be good, but it also allows Impact to push out the wave.
Exactly.
Because if he's not covered, you die in that 1v1 in the long lane.
Exactly. It's just a cover to make sure if they gank you while you're trying to push in this wave, you don't get punished. And again, that is number 1 on the checklist. Loss mitigation.
Yep.
Not trying to, make any big explosive occurrence up on the top half of the map.
And as we hit 14 minutes and the turret plates fall, once again, it is Cowrie topping the gold charts, being enabled early, being fed those early kills. They're setting this kid up for success.
Absolutely, and it feels very much like how EG was successful in spring. The rocket belt is done, so poking away at him, he's going to have that additional burst now, but it's like they did in spring, right? It's like they did through that playoff run. Get all the last hits on your marksman, get all the gold on your marksman, and putting faith into him. And I love the trust that EG are showing Cowrie here on this big stage.
Yeah, if I'm going to trust any AD carry champion in the late game, it's going to be Zeri with the Lulu buff for sure. Sivir is no slouch, and of course you have to watch that CS as well. They can rotate towards mid lane to have the Azir start to split push once he gets teleport back up and keep Sivir in mid lane, and just continue to funnel more success in there as well. But in these stages, it has been Evil Geniuses with every early move.
And Ssumday is not being allowed to really choke Impact out of the game either. Impact is still doing a good job farming up underneath the turret. He's getting a little bit of help as people walk up there to shadow him, make sure nothing terrible happens. And so 100 Thieves can't snowball the one part of the map they're winning.
Yeah, and EG are using this to dominate all the early game objectives. Both Rift Heralds now, plus the first dragon were taken. And this one's going to have a payment of the bottom dragon. but it's going to be a hard EG push towards that mid tower too. Look, they zone out 100 Thieves, and Cowrie can almost get it.
Jojo's going forward though. He's looking for closer. Forces the flash away into the wind becomes lightning to dash to the Krugs over the wall, but that means EG has total control over the mid lane to claim the first turret.
And they can go for two because they actually still have them completely boxed out. Closer has no flash, and now Inspired and Jojo are in between you. They're getting a lot of damage on this.
It is with a simultaneously pushing Azir.
Oh, we're not done. Closer is though. Jojo picking up a freebie.
Azir's gonna get that outer turret, but EG, they take even more for it. Another kill as they jump on him. No flash on the Xin. It is traded there in the end. Some more money on Abbeddage. The Azir, this is one of those late game carries here. The hopes 400 Thieves are in.
Absolutely, going to be a lot of pressure on Abbeddage. He was the main open the last game. This time there are those additional carries. There's going to be the side lane threat of Ssumday. There's that big DPS coming out of this Sivir here as well. But one of the key things missing is that there's just no deep vision. You look at this map, there's no wards in this section. That's really what you require, more so than the defensive vision, to be able to push aggressively, to really try to chip away at that tower. Because you can see the tower is basically full health still. It's just taking this damage now. Even with that solo kill, there was never the safety of that deep vision for somebody to exert his pressure on the map.
Also, if you could isolate, Fiora versus Aatrox for later for split pushing in the side lanes, that would be great. But you usually have Akali here, and Jojo is also fed, and having the extra teleport and be able to make those trailing teleport plays or surprise plays, you really have to keep track of that vision, or else you're still going to lose that side push because of the extra person.
All right, we've got Huhi strapped to Closer's back now, ready to try to help the Zhao make plays. 0-1 and 0 for the 100 Thieves jungler compared to the 0-0 and 3 of Evil Geniuses. Inspired has got the better of him here in the early game, but what can Closer find in the mid game? Abbeddage versus Jojo up in the top side as EG is putting more men on the bottom half of the map.
And it's so interesting to see, how much emphasis they're putting on these early anathemas. It has become very popular across playoffs. Before Mythic here, Inspired goes straight towards it, just the bombies to help him with the jungle clear. But has that early anathemas, he's already strapped it onto Abbeddage, and the reduced tenacity is big.
All right, the fight's ready to go. Inspired goes for the ejection, but is it enough to save him? No! Closer is on the board, and now Impact is trying to strike back. Cowrie's got to try to run away, but Closer will answer, and Closer will set it up for FBI.
The 100 Thieves will hunt them down. Ssumday gonna get another chunk.
But Jojo gets one back. EG still trying to get anything they can. It's 2 for 1 overall.
Again, Jojo's solo kill there on Abbeddage on the top side. Second one of the game. 100 Thieves coming up big time here. They get the kills on the bot side. They're going to get this tower, and they're going to close this gold lead down quite a bit.
That is much needed money for them to be able to get those chase down kills. As we said though, the side lanes are not safe with this Akali floating around.
That is the problem. Yes, Ssumday got a nice early lead with a solo kill, but the Akali is the apex predator of the solo lane. Do not enter if Akali is not seen.
It's definitely scary out there, especially now that Jojo has 3 kills to his name this early on. Looks like he's working towards Shadow Flame second. He'll be going for a lot of pen in this build. And because he is the solo AP threat here, it's not going to be as much MR built up on the other side.
Right, and because it's Rocket Belt, you even get more and more Magic Pen. This is the tactical nuke build for the Akali.
Yeah, and this is EG with knowledge that they are here. It is EG choosing that fight. But as you see with the Aatrox coming in and the ejection only going down there onto Ssumday, 100 Thieves get the first kill and can chase them through. And once they get that, they get even more important summoner spells. The flash off of that VODS Zeri, the shutdown, the kill onto that VODS Zeri as well.
And it was kind of that awkward position there from Cowrie, trying to fight his way through, He's in between 2 players on the other side, and this is Abbeddage interrupting the TP and paying for it big time here. Let's watch exactly how it turned out.
Yeah, he used the ultimate for it to stop the teleport, so he doesn't have it for the peel for the all-in, and Jojo says, great, you stopped me, now you're trapped in the top lane.
Yeah, able to flash over the wall with a follow, finishes off the solo kill there. Didn't even need the shuriken flip.
Honestly, I feel like I was just a little disrespectful from Abbeddage sticking around after using the ulti like that, saying, he won't go for me. Well, turns out he'll go for you in those situations. 100 Thieves, though, they're only 400 gold behind. They're even on Drakes. This game is by no means over, but they're gonna have to play really smart and really coordinated. We saw last game how good EG are in these team fights. 100 Thieves has got to track Jojo and play these fights right.
Absolutely. I feel like so much of this game is going to be depending on how well Jojo can play in these fights. Because if he can assassinate one of these big carries in the backline, it's going to go their way. But if you eliminate his gold, he's going to be way down.
All right, they're going after Impact. The grand challenge is issued. The riposte hits, but there's no stun. Impact will live.
He fights his way out of it, and guess what? That's so far away from the dragon, they're gonna have Cowrie solo the dragon for Evil Geniuses to get them number 2. Wow, Impact barely fights and heals his way out of the 1v2.
That's the power of the Aatrox ulti, the heal amp on your Gore Drinker there. Against the 2-man Gore Drinker, healed him for almost 800.
Huge stuff. Also, hey, Grasp of the Undying, bonk him once, get a little health back. It's a Grasp diff. As Jojo, still 3-0 in this game, still the main person we're focusing on. But man, hats off to Impact. That, you want to talk about loss mitigation? That's loss mitigation.
Exactly, and then meanwhile on the other side, on the side from 100 Thieves, the funnel into Sivir is in full operation. Look at this CS. 223 here funneled into FBI. They're trying to get as much money into this AoE damage powerhouse for those team fights.
And he has now passed up, just by a very slight margin, the gold of Cowrie. Very, very important. They want this Sivir to hit that 3-item power spike. They want this to become the AoE crit death machine that can take over a team fight as long as he's not insta-killed by Jojo.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a lot about the peel here from 100 Thieves' side. They've got to be able to mark Jojo, keep him away from that backline. They do have the exhaust to help, but if he can get in on that Sivir, in on Abbeddage, it is going to be very difficult to survive.
Nice use of the spell shield there from FBI to endure those Luxults, I mean Zeri lasers, but pretty much the same thing, as it hits really hard. Probably one of the most important spells to shield. But Cowrie on the Zeri has the 2 items completed just like his opponent does. Immortal Shield Bow plus a Lulu means this Zeri is very hard to eliminate as long as she's not insanely out of position.
Now, next thing I want to see is Evil Geniuses using their teleport advantage because they have such threat in the side lanes with the extra teleport here. Abbeddage does not have his to answer, so they should be able to get Jojo pushing out, Impact pushing out on the side lanes first to then be able to collapse and threaten those flanks that you guys were talking about.
Alrighty, 100 Thieves, let's see what you guys got. There's still plenty of time before the next Drake spawns, so we're not going to see anything forced around that just yet. 23 minutes into the game, also not a time where teams usually want to hard force on a Baron either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this game is going to be heavily about Soul, and Cloud Soul I think is actually super strong for a lot of members in this game. For Fiora, it's amazing. Aatrox, it's amazing. For the Zeri, it's so powerful. So for a lot of these champions, it is going to mean a lot. Sivir as well. It's like, it's kind of just reinforcing what you're already doing.
Yeah, you jump in, now you can hunt everybody down as you've got that invulnerability of your Crescent Guard too. Very, very big stuff for very, very many of the 10 champions on the Rift right now. EG sweeping out the top side river, setting down some control wards. You can see him there, inside Crescent Brush, inside Mid Brush, inside the Baron Pit. EG want to control this area as 100 Thieves try to move up to sweep it out.
And they actually have Impact do an early recall here. You see him not even shove this side wave all the way out. Oh, he cancels his recall, so they're going to go for a 30-second later timing as Jojo's also going to be able to get his back off. They don't want to overextend in front of these side towers. Before you get these 2 outer towers down on the side of 100 Thieves, it's really difficult for them to actually get an early move.
Now, I'm still waiting for who's going to make the first move. Jojo is set up in a spot where if Abbeddage gets a little too close. Okay, Jojo walks out. Abbedage's not going to walk up any further. Jojo's going to take the opportunity to shove out this wave.
It's actually helping 100 Thieves so much that they've been able to keep these defenses of the side towers up this entire time. Abbeddage has been able to wait out that entire teleport discrepancy with the cooldowns there. Meanwhile, FBI just keeps on sucking up all the minions through mid lane, and they're able to use the top and push out from mid to be able to take down Vision around Baron.
And you can see them denying a lot of EG's vision. It's so much about this long line of wards through there that's actually buying the safety for Abbeddage to be able to continually collect the minions at his tower, defend that tower, knows he's not actually getting wrapped around on because of this big line of wards up through that top side.
And look at the inventory. Look at the Sivir. Has the BF sword, has the cloak. If FBI can complete that and get to Infinity Edge before the next fight, massive difference. Shadow Flame coming online now for the Azir too. Also with an Impan Mythic, also with Sorcerer's Shoes, Abbeddage can be a real X factor.
Yeah, I definitely look at the other side as well, as the Calorie is going to finish his Infinity Edge basically on the same timer, but they're going for it.
Vulcan gets jumped on, but Wild Growth keeps him alive. FBI and Abbeddage step up, they summon up the Sun Disc, but nobody goes down.
It is critical to note, though, Closer didn't spend his ulti at all there, and it was Vulcan using ult and Ignite, so we'll see if Closer can actually heal it up potentially before this dragon spawns.
Look at this flank angle from Akali as well. Jojo is hunting around for FBI.
That Sun Disc providing a lot of cover for the 100 Thieves 4-man squad, so they cannot be jumped on as easily by these assassins. Vulcan next to Inspired here on the flank as well. The Sun Disc starting to wither away as the minions fall into it. Health bar slowly draining. They won't be able to keep this point of safety forever, but the Drake has spawned, so 100 Thieves will fall back to it.
But look at Impact and Ssumday. Ssumday's just keeping Impact away from that dragon completely. He's zoning him out in the bottom left of your screen. He's just playing bodyguard in the jungle, so Impact can't find a flanking angle. And now it is 100 Thieves pulling the dragon here. EG are looking.
Inspired's ready, and he goes after Abbeddage. Impact's going to be held off here on the side as Jojo goes in, and they look for FBI, and they've already got him. Vulcan's going to be focused. Closer gets one back. Ssumday still looking to grab some damage, and now Closer wants to get away. The soldiers go in. The shuffle comes out. They don't hit the skill shot, but they still get the damage. Ssumday's in hot pursuit. The heals are coming out. Impact survives. Cowrie tries to kite. Triple kill. Ssumday. Ace. 100 Thieves.
Oh, Impact tries to time the Q coming out of the stopwatch, but he can't get it, and the 100 Thieves roll Evil Geniuses over. It is an ace for one, and they pick up the dragon.
That is everything for them. They're going to go straight for the Baron here as well. They have the Azir. Abbeddage able to push back Cowrie in that fight and take him down. Well, Ssumday ran over the other side of the fight here. 100 Thieves exploding the gold lead now. This will be 3K in their advantage. A massive swing in this game.
100 Thieves come storming back in this game, storming back in this series. What a massive, massive gold swing this is going to be.
There we go, plus 3,000 for the Thieves off the back of that fight. Hopefully we can jump into a replay here in a second. In the Roccat flip the switch replay, gentlemen, break it down.
Look at this start. And again, Aatrox uses the dash over the wall here right behind. 100 Thieves, they engage on him while Inspired flashes onto Abbeddage. But the Yuumi ultimate is a very good disengage. Meanwhile, they get an early focus onto FBI, and the flash here blown by FBI towards the rest of Evil Geniuses.
And when he goes down, you start thinking EG could run over this fight, but Vulcan on the side is getting burst down. Ssumday goes in to finish him off, but we're back to live.
All right, Closer's here in the front. Jojo looking for the angle. Goes in the 100 Thieves jungler, but now he's going to be thrown up into the air. He dies! And he's going to trade back, but they've also lost Inspired. It's a 2-for-1 for 100 Thieves, and they took out the Akali.
EG go right back into the meat grinder. Sivir chops them down. 100 Thieves say thank you very much. Say goodbye to your base.
EG made the call. They don't have the wave clear here with this Jojo Akali. They wanted to go for the fight, but they lose the fight, and now it's 100 Thieves on the push.
Boys, they might just be looking for the Nexus. Nexus turret number 1 is gone. EG have to find a way to weather this, but it doesn't look like they're gonna do it. Impact's gonna die to a pizza, and FBI serves them up hot. Nexus turret number 2, that'll fall down next. Ssumday, FBI, Abbeddage, 100 Thieves, take game 2.
That's what we wanted already. Better than the spring rematch here for 100 Thieves. They come storming back. They get some revenge. They get on the board. This one is 1-1.
It was dicey early. It looked like Evil Geniuses were getting the better of them everywhere, but Top and Impact was doing what Impact does, soaking pressure. But it was 100 Thieves answering the call that so few LCS teams have been able to answer and out-team fighting EG to break the game open and then immediately close.
Absolutely, and Ssumday found his moment in that team fight to really go off, was winning in that 1v1, got the early solo kill, but hadn't really had an opportunity to kind of exert his will on the map, and finally, in that fight, able to take over.
And Abbeddage with that Azir sweep, my goodness, sweeps EG right off the map. And they blow it open. EG showing that if they get that lead, if they get that advantage, they will run it straight to the Nexus, finish it up quick.
And last game, we said, all right, 100 Thieves, let's see how you adapt. The pressure's on. They adapted, they answered, they found the way to do it. Now, Evil Geniuses, they get to bounce the ball back into their court. All right, what do you guys have? Fed Jojo on Akali, couldn't carry the game. So what's the next step gonna be?
Absolutely, and I think in this case, Jojo does need some more help. Impact had a rough laning phase, so he wasn't really a big part of it. Kaori got those early kills, but didn't have the best team fights. You need more than just that one threat because 100 Thieves is too solid to go down to just one guy.
It's 1-1. And with the series all tied up, we're heading back.